Welcome to the Love on the Go podcast, brought to you by Carolina's Matchmaker. I'm Laurie Burzak, and for over 17 years, I've been helping singles find the relationship of their dreams all over the Carolinas. Along the journey, I've met so many amazing professionals and experts from various fields, and I'm excited to introduce them to you. What's my goal? I want to help you look at love and relationships in a new way and to grow in your understanding of how love works. Let's learn together how people have overcome personal obstacles and have found love, first and foremost with themselves. The ultimate goal is realizing that you are worthy and deserving of love. Let's get started. I am really excited to have Hunt Ethridge, a colleague of mine, on the show today. Welcome, Hunt.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I'm excited as always to sit and chat with you. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure. So Hunt is an award-winning international dating and relationship expert with over 15 years of experience, and he helps people become the best, most dateable version of themselves. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. And he's done a lot of focus on coaching and kind of what makes people more dateable, lessons learned, and how it translates into personal and professional lives. And he focuses a lot on confidence building, leadership, image and style, conversation skills, creating chemistry. I want to talk about that and reconnecting with fun and more. So you've been on a lot of media outlets, and Hunt and I know each other from the Matchmakers Alliance. So we've been on a lot of fun trips together.
Yes, we have.
And we have collaborated, and we have just we have a mutual respect for one another's crafts. So
Yes. Yep.
really
We've both been in the business for quite some time, so we love comparing notes.
100%. And we were just last in Cancun together at the Matchmakers Alliance conference. And that was, of course, a ball. And also he's holding up, for those of you that can't see the screen, he's holding up the tote bag. So if you want to see this, you can go to my YouTube channel.
There you go.
And you can see the beautiful tote bag that was created for the conference. So Hunt, I don't even know where to start. I kind of want to talk about like what makes someone more dateable.
Sure.
Let's do that.
That's the thing. Like basically, I kind of say it's self-betterment through the lens of dating.
Okay.
You know, it's 80% of what I do is teach people how to be a better human being. Whether what you use those skills for, it can be the same skill set as a sales job. You find the person, you figure out their pleasure points and push them, their pain points and assuage them. You figure out what you have in common, what you can bond over, create some chemistry. And then whether you ask for a date or whether you ask for a sale, it's basically the same skill sets that have gotten you there.
So what do you think that maybe isn't resonating for people when they go on dates?
I think, and obviously without being too gendered, we know that men approach dating one way and women approach dating another way a lot of times.
Yes.
I tell my clients that most of what we work on is learning how to get out of our own way.
Okay.
And that we all are wonderful people, and overgeneralizing a bit, but that I think it's our hangups or what we're thinking other people are thinking that start to play and get in our head, which makes how we react be something like, for instance, workout sweat and stress sweat smell different. That's what, like when someone comes straight out of the, hard working guy with a, axe over his shoulder after chopping wood, and it's like, it's got a sexy, sweaty smell, but basically we sweat from a different place that has lipids in it, which is a little bit greasier when we're stressed out, and it has that acrid smell to the stress smell. So if you are in your head and you're getting stressed out because of this, and then you are sweating the stress sweat, your date is smelling, either consciously or unconsciously through the pheromones, this stress sweat, which is an immediate basic turn off. Whereas if that stress sweat wasn't there to begin with, we could have moved forward in the date.
Okay. What if they're wearing deodorant?
Everything is workable. That's the thing. But in trying to get people in the right headspace for doing it, then you don't need as many crutches and tips and tricks and this and that. Like, and you know this too, but like sometimes I get my men, they say, like, wait a minute. So, for months of working together, like, all you're saying is I just need to walk up to someone and say, hi, I'm Eric. Like, yes, that's it. That's it. But to get someone there where they feel good about themselves, they're walking with confidence, they're dressed with style, they're not anxious about what the conversation is going to be, and feels that they can bring some value to that. Well, that's what takes, time to build up.
Yeah. So I've worked with anxious clients before, men and women, but let's talk about men for a minute. What do you think are some good tips and tools for men to relax their nervous system and be able to walk into a date not anxious?
I think that, well, the media affects both men and women in all different generations, but I think that one thing that kind of sticks in my guys' heads a lot
Mhm.
is happy wife, happy life.
Okay.
In that, all I need to do is make sure she's happy, maybe even to the detriment of my own happiness, and things will work themselves out. So there's two kind of things that's wrong with it. I mean, other than the whole general thing being wrong with it. But one, if you're too concerned about someone else's happiness, you're going to be anxious and worried and trying to figure, does she like this? Does she not like this? Yada, 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 things like
Mhm.
that. And if you're focused on their fun, you're not focused on your fun. And if you're
Right.
not enjoying yourself, your body language is not going to read like that. And she may not feel comfortable because she can read that you're not at ease.
Okay.
So, as an example.
Right. So what I will tell my male clients is before they walk into the restaurant, the bar, wherever they're meeting up, is to take a few minutes to ground themselves, do some breathing exercises, kind of experience that idea of if they're like so far ahead of themselves, like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to have anxiety. I'm going to like shut down is really acknowledge that in your mind,
Mhm.
see it for what it is, and you can literally say to your anxiety, like have a conversation with it. Like, okay,
Mhm.
I see you and I know that you're trying to um just keep me on high alert and whatnot, which is what our human nature is all about. But I'm okay.
Yep.
So anxiety, go take a walk down the beach,
Same
grab
thing with
yourself a cup
fear.
of coffee, fear, all of it,
It's
sadness.
okay to feel it, not be
Yeah,
ruled by it.
yes. Grab a cup of coffee, go hang out on the pier. I'm good. You relax, and I've got this. So you
Yeah.
can literally talk to your brain in that way because it's really, your brain isn't really who you are, but our brain tries to do everything to control ourselves and to keep us in like a fight or flight kind of a mode,
Yes,
like always
completely.
protection, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
some people get stuck in that when they go on dates.
That's one of the things that I think a lot of men that may not have a lot of experience have
Mhm,
really twisted senses of what the worst case scenario is out there.
mhm. Yeah.
Um, from they feel that they'll get slapped across the face, or if they just touch a woman, that they'll be arrested for assault,
Mhm.
or that women will look them up and down and be like, shoot, go
Yeah.
away. And they internalize all this fear and that makes them not want to do it. So,
Yeah.
one of the things that I love to do when I take clients out into the real world is I say, watch me do this.
Yes.
And then basically, you'll see that there's no worst case scenario. Like,
Right.
worst case scenario really is a couple of polite sentences to each other,
Yeah.
maybe an awkward silence, and then that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And when you can start overcoming that fear, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
Like, yes, no, it's not. And then you can start kind of working on that. And also, what I
Mhm.
work on is building small successes. For
Mhm.
instance, if you're a guy and you walk into a party, you say, I'm going to get 5 phone numbers tonight, and you don't, that
Right.
doesn't make you feel great. But it's
Right.
your fault because you gave yourself an unrealistic goal.
Yes.
So I teach my men as well, too. The first thing, your first goal, your first activity, smile at one person. Can I do that?
Mm.
Yes. Smile in person. Then smile at 3 people. Then say hello to
Mhm.
1 person. Then say hello to 2 people. Then ask someone where they're from. Then identify someone you might know. So by the time that you might want to talk to someone that you're interested in, you set
Mhm.
yourself psychologically in a pattern of successes and wins
Mm.
so that you feel good about yourself by that time. And that same thing is like tricking our brain, rewiring our brain. We know because
Mhm.
again, we are our biggest faults. Like when you could, I'm sure you've had this too. You work with someone that finally like trust you and put aside all of their issues, and they go out on a date and they're like, oh, it works. Like, yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah, and I love what you're talking about. It's basically building blocks to success and confidence. So
Hmm.
try those few things, and then you've got your foundation, and then the next level, and then the higher level will be grabbing a phone number, and then how often do you text? Let's
Exactly.
talk about that.
Yeah, I
I
say any of that
right?
stuff. Also, all of those things, a relationship, making out at the bar, phone number, sex, these are side effects
Mm,
of being the type of person that people want to be around.
right.
And so I think when you get that mental switch of it's not about chasing, it's about becoming,
Mm,
that helps, especially men, I think a lot. All of us as humans, if we see something, we want to go after it. It's human
right.
nature.
Right.
Men get a little bit more just straight line focused.
Right.
That can come across as desperate or needy or chasing or all of those things when it's just simply the human nature. But if you
Right.
are the type of person doing these things that make people say, like, who's that guy? I want to know more about him, and you draw people to you, that's where the real magic starts to come.
Yeah. And I suspect alpha females are the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah.
there's a few of them here in New York.
For all you men out there looking for alpha females, go to New York. You will not
Yes,
have any
but you got to
problem.
make sure you do your own inner work, men. Like that you can be with a powerful boss babe and
Mm.
feel okay wherever you are.
What do you suggest people do to sort of handle that inner work?
Well, here's the thing. Women are outpacing men, frankly.
Mm. Mm.
And there's phrases called heteronormative, which means like dressing your boy in blue and your girl in pink, heteronormative behaviors.
Mhm.
Women have smashed heteronormative behaviors of the glass ceiling, and now they're being bosses and CEOs and managing directors and VPs and all this stuff. And that's awesome. Needed. But, and again, I'm overgeneralizing, oversimplifying. I have found that women adamantly refuse to give up the heteronormative uh, ability of dating up or dating
Mm.
equal, and
Yep.
that is my biggest challenge for my women clients
Mhm.
is because it's two parts. It's one, getting the women to be okay with something new, and two, getting the men to be okay with themselves
Mm.
with something new like this.
Mhm.
And so my wife out earns me. Why? Because I am attracted to powerful women. I like tall, powerful brunettes. But I had to make sure that I'm okay with who I am. And because of all of the media attention on men being providers, and now that's going out, the thing is, men like to be providers, but we don't have to be providers of just money.
Right.
Just tell us what we are providing.
Mm.
Because if we don't know what we bring to the relationship, okay, so first of all, this is the first generation in about 200 years where the men are predicted to do worse than their fathers,
Mm.
for a variety of reasons. And this brings in a lot of internalized shame
Mhm.
because though it's not our fault, we aren't doing as well. And so then you have these women that are outpacing this. And so you have men that are dealing with a bit of shame,
Yeah.
working on themselves in this. And then you have a woman that's out earning them. There has to be good communication between the couples,
Yes.
because why are you with me then?
Mm.
What do I bring to the table? Tell me, not subtly, just in like a dog. You know what? Treat me like a dog. Just tell me in small, simple words. I'm with you because you make me happy. I'm with you because you bring out the best in me. Every day that I come home to you, it makes me excited and I get butterflies to know that I'll see you. Now I know what I'm providing. If I'm not
Mm.
providing a monetary thing, I know what I'm bringing to the relationship. And then
Mhm.
also on the other side of it, women have discovered in the workplace that showing vulnerability can be considered a weakness, even though it is
Mhm.
not. And so I've got this mask and this wall that works for them in the professional world.
Yes.
Now, again, they're out at the bar. I see this woman that had a perfect boss babe. She's got it
Mm.
all together, no vulnerabilities, nothing's lacking, out earns me. Why would I even go talk to her? I
Yes.
see no place for me in this at all. And any man worth his salt has been rejected hundreds or thousands of times. And
Right.
it does add up. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you're just not in the mood for it. So
Right.
I have to tell my men, like, you have to figure out how to be okay with this and what you can offer, bring to a relationship. And I teach my women, like, you have to, once, be open to the fact, but if you are dating someone in this mixed socioeconomic ways, be very upfront about why you want to be together.
Yeah. Now, I know that it is concerning a lot of times for men to approach a woman, if we're talking about, the heterosexual world,
Mhm.
in a bar setting or restaurant or whatnot, and especially when the women are with a group of women, with a group of women, and they're, it's hard to kind of approach that grouping. So when you take men out into the wild, do you take a group of men or just one man at a time?
Usually one at a time, but sometimes I'll take two so that the two of them
Yeah.
can do together. But I don't bring men out to meet women or women out to bring men,
Okay.
meet men, because the energy gets weird. Like I remember
Okay.
specifically bringing a guy out to Williamsburg, Brooklyn,
Okay.
hot, hip place, go walk into the
Right.
club with hundreds of people. And he's like, there's not one good looking girl here. And I'm just
Oh,
like, one, yes, there are. And two, now I have to fight.
right.
I either have to fight to convince him
Mm,
that there are, or I have to fight to go find a place
right.
that he feels they are worthy.
Okay.
So, and also, like you've seen sometimes too, Pete, when you host a singles event, some people
Yeah.
walk in, just look right around and then just like adopt an attitude because they don't see anything
Yeah.
immediately that they
Yeah.
want. So
And
I
it's a
bring people
defense mechanism.
completely, and nobody
Uh-huh.
wants to meet the sour face,
Yeah.
and so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So
Hmm.
I bring all my clients out to networking events and cool fun stuff to do around in the city, galas and white parties and finale, like New York City's best croissant finale.
Uh-huh.
Brought a client to, or the vintage clothing festivals, third places,
Okay.
basically, also because I want them to practice just talking
Yeah.
without
Just
intent.
approaching. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Love that.
Man, woman, young, old, married,
Mm-hmm.
single. Because also, like, if I really want to get into it with the men and say, okay, you see a pretty girl, who are the gatekeepers to that
Yeah.
woman? The men and their friends.
Right.
So you have to learn to win over different groups of people
Hmm.
to get access to the person that you want to talk to as well.
Totally. So what do you recommend to a man that you've taken out into the wild who is interested in speaking to a woman who is surrounded by a group of men and women?
You have to stand out, first of all, is in the simplest thing. Everyone has been through this, this hamster wheel for so long right now that you do have to catch people's attention. What I ask my clients is, would you date you?
Mm.
If your Adonis or your Aphrodite walked in right now,
Uh-huh.
would you be able to earn them?
Okay.
What if we want to go straight cold marketing? What's your competitive advantage?
Okay.
And so sometimes I ask them to answer, but most of the time I don't. It's just more of a thought thing for them. But if it's to go, it's like, okay, let's look around. Let's look at our surroundings. Let's figure out what is our competition. Because then I say, okay, now look at that woman. What can we tell about her? And I teach them how to do a cold read. Okay, she is at Starbucks at 3 p.m. So most likely she doesn't have a 9 to 5 job and she's around here, could be a creative type, could be in school. I see that she is hanging out with two other females that look about the same age as she is. So I'm going to guess either co-workers or college students. Now, looking at their dress, I see that they're dressed up in business suits, which makes me think that they are working, but being 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe now it's real estate, because why are they at Starbucks at 3 p.m. in a group? Now I see their body language seems to be open and laughing. So they seem to be in a good mood and they seem to know each other pretty well. And I see two of them holding iPhones. So they're definitely not broke. And the other one has a photo of a dog on her iPad. So I bet that if you wanted to talk about dogs, that's a way to get in. So and obviously if you can just whittle it down to one thing, and just something that you can notice, something that you can find a commonality to. Because, if I look at someone and I see that they have embroidered lobsters on their shorts, I'm going to make a couple of assumptions on where they're from, probably the Northeast.
That's right.
I'm from the Northeast. So that's something that I may approach that person with,
Okay.
using that data with, because now it's in a world that I'm comfortable with, that I'm comfortable talking to. And we work on creating like safe spaces mentally, like topics to talk about that you could talk about at length,
Okay.
and how to transition or segue into those topics from just about anywhere. So it removes the anxiety that you feel kind of when you walk up going, I don't know what to talk about.
Do you have any like really great opening lines that you recommend to people?
I accidentally created one when I was in my single days.
Okay.
That seems to work and gets some fun. You got to have a little bit of tongue in cheek with it. But my friend and I were out at a bar. The two most beautiful women in the bar. We were just, like, damn, look at them across the bar.
Right.
We just had no desire to go up and talk to them right now. We were just having fun talking with each other, catching up and stuff like that. But as they were in our eyesight, we just saw man after man coming in, shooting their shot and just getting shot down. And
Right.
it was so entertaining for us.
Oh my God.
So after a few drinks, I just walk out and like, I just want to let you guys know, you guys are hilarious. We were having so much fun. My buddy and I are just over there watching you guys have fun. And I went back. And then every time from then that a guy came up, I'd see them going, like looking over at us and kind of like laughing. We're like,
right.
No. Yeah. Like this. And over like 25 minutes, a half an hour of just doing that. Finally, they came over to us to talk to us.
Yeah.
Which wasn't even the point.
Yeah.
To do it.
Yeah.
But then to realize because there wasn't doing it for the point of meeting them.
Right.
That created interest and, I call it positive emotional drama. And so now they wanted to find out why we weren't coming over to talking to them. And so again, I think it's when people notice you doing something fun or being fun that catches their attention.
Yeah.
I kind of call it setting yourself up for the second time too, because everybody is so used. Well, basically, it's being positive emotional drama is another way of saying like positive unexpectedness, Yeah. And so if I go up and say, that dress is beautiful on you, it reminds me of the Mediterranean in November. Anyways, you have fun with your girlfriends. I'm gonna go hang out with my boys. They're like, wait, what? Wait, hold on a second. Because most of the time men will come up, compliment you, and then want to stick in the moment.
Right.
And see how much they can get out of it, conversation-wise or things like that.
Yeah.
So by flipping that kind of script, you're showing that I am not desperate.
Right.
I have caught your notice. Now I exist in your brain. You're going to start thinking about things, and I'm going to find out if you're interested in me because you might have to do a little bit of work. But now I can, if I'm in a large event space, I can say that to 5 different people because it's all true and there's no rules against it.
Right. Exactly.
And then so over the course of the evening, I may find myself next to someone. That I had previously broken the ice with. And then it just kind of a natural flow. So one of the things I teach my students is to do called one-offs. Okay. Basically a comment to someone where you're expecting absolutely nothing in return. Okay. You're walking past Macy's. You see a woman looking in the window. At a dress. I definitely think the green one would look better on you than the red. Have a good day. Continue. Right. Don't stop. When they feel that you're not offering anything, you're not trying to get anything out of it. Yes. People get interested in you. It's kind of the old thing that happens like, man, when I didn't have a girlfriend, there were no girls around. And the minute that I get a girlfriend, now the girls are coming out of the woodwork. Right. It's because now you're not pursuing. And so how do we get, like, again, that mental state of still wanting that thing, letting them know that you want that thing. Right. But not being perceived as someone that's going to be too reckless and chasing and desperate or whatever. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, that's really good. It's kind of like making a comment to somebody on an elevator and then seeing them again, like later on in the day, being like, oh, the girl from the elevator. I've even said like the set yourself up for the second time thing works not just in the same evening, but like, for instance, if you just move to a new place and you've got a local, you start going to the local bar and you have a good, fun evening chatting to a woman. Yep. Take a risk and don't ask for her contact info. Yeah. Like, I had a really great night with you. I hope I see you again. And you walk away. Again, it's that unexpectedness. Like, she may be like, wait a minute. No. Right. Come back, which is a good sign for you. And if not, it's like, I'll see you again. Don't be so attached to the outcome. Just sort of be in the moment,
and experience it for what it is and be willing to let it
Yes.
go. And if it's something that's meant to be or happen, it will.
And that's what I would say to my women on their first dates.
Okay.
Because there is a tendency for women to look further down the line. They go out on a first date, especially when we get to a certain age. Like, is this a person that I could spend the next 25 years of my life with? Are we financially compatible? Like, chill.
Right.
You're on a first date. The point of a first date is not to run down a marriage checklist. The point of a first date is to get a second date.
That's right.
That's it. Point of
If
second
you're
date,
interested, or decide if you want a second date, right?
and yes, and you may be if you're too focused. Men, for me, and I won't speak for all men, but I think that when we see women thinking too far in the future, it means that they're not having fun now.
Yes.
And men more live in the moments. And to me, that would come across as that she's not having fun right now, not living in the moment, not drinking in everything around them, but is too focused on what's on the paper or how we would mesh when I don't even know if I like you yet, so and it's hard, I know, because we just go through that like dating interview and want to check off all of our disqualifiers.
Yeah.
But we need to back off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you said, not be so concerned about the outcome, but more the process. But of course, nobody wants to hear that.
Exactly. And what, in terms of body language, what kinds of things should people be looking for, would you say?
Well, as an example, like when I take people out, I'll tell my men, like, okay, watch this. I'm going to approach this group of women straight up, 90-degree angle, flush to them.
Yep.
Hey guys, how you doing? What's going on? And just walk up and you just see, whoa, they just see them pull back.
Right.
Because it's just a lot of energy, a lot of intent.
Yeah.
Really focus in there, even if it's pleasant and jovial, and not creepy. And then I said, okay, now watch me approach this group of girls, and I'm going to approach them at a 45-degree angle. I'm like, oh, hey girls, how you doing? Like, what's going on? Like, and then go back to my friend or my client and be like, did you notice the difference of how just the angle of the body is being perceived in it? And and then I teach about how we use muscle memory. For instance, next time it's muscle memory and sense memory, which I'll get into. But muscle memory, obviously, we know what muscle memory is, but the next time that you are in a place that you feel extremely comfortable, your good friends, your family, look at your body, memorize where your body is. Am I sitting with my knee up and my arm up here and sitting, kicking back like this? Am I splayed out? Am I sitting like this? And memorize that pose. And when you're out with people that you don't, that are new to you, recreate that pose, because that will tell your body that is your relaxed pose. You may not quite feel it at the moment when you're putting yourself, because it feels a little awkward, but your body remembers and it'll feel that. And then the sense memory is the same thing too. The example of sense memory is if you see an actor on stage crying, that actor making millions of dollars on set is not sad. Right. However, they had to remember a time where they were sad, bring that sense up. And so when you're sitting around with your friends and your family, what's the volume of your voice? What's the tone of your voice? Are you interrupting each other, ball busting each other? Are you giving each other space? How do you feel about the situation? And then again, try to recreate that amongst new people, because most people don't like the awkward getting to know you first couple of sentences. And in fact, if you can kind of almost skip over that and just go, what I say is assume everyone is your friend.
Yeah.
Go in with that assumption.
Yes, I say exactly the same thing. With online dating, I always recommend jump into the middle of the conversation so you can have the banter back and forth, so that you can definitely have an experience where you just think, I'm comfortable with this person. Let's see how they react to me.
As an example, like I tell my men, I'm like, okay, if you're walking down the street and you see a woman with a cute dog and you want to talk to the woman. Yep. Oh, what a cute little, oh, hey, is it all right if I pet him? Like, what a cute little doggy. Oh, hey, little one. Oh, I think I've seen these types around. So do you live around here? Nothing wrong with that. But imagine now if that were a friend of yours. Is that how you would have said it? No. Now I want you to say it pretending it's a friend of yours.
Yeah.
Oh man, time. Oh, dude, I miss having a dog. Like, we can't have it in my apartment right now, which really sucks. But we got a cat who's a little bit of a bitch. But anyways, what kind is this one? It's not a Bichon, is it? Oh, cool. All right. Just the way you approach that conversation is going to be very differently. You're going to bring a different energy to it.
Yes.
And this is called an example of emotional leadership. Most people, if you walk up to someone and say, "Oh my God, that food looks amazing. Where did you get it?" They're not going to say, "I got this food down the street at the Mandarin place." People naturally match your energy to a bit. You know, where did you get that? Oh, yeah, it's really good. You should go down there and get it.
Right.
You have so much power in creating the path of how you want that interaction to go.
I love that. But if somebody thinks you're a little too much, they're not going to match your energy. They're going to just walk away.
And that's where,
you're-
you know, combining that with the observations and stuff as well too is going to play into that too, because you can't teach anyone to memorize anything, because the variables and stimuli are going to be different from night to night. And I could say do X one night and it works perfectly, and they do X the next night and it blows up in their face. So we have to understand the rhythms and the machinations of what's going on underneath, but, you know, in our minds, and sociology and psychology, so we can understand why people are acting a certain way. And then once we know why they're doing that, then we can give them what they want.
Yes.
You know, and hope that, you know, that works with what we want as well too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just makes it much easier to understand that person.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Wonderful. And you've done like mock dates before. Have you done them on Zoom?
Yes.
So what are you finding? So you're acting. So explain what a mock date is.
Well, mock date is when I meet with a person, or third party, have one of my people that I work with meet with a person, and you have a pretend date where you sit down. And the woman's aware of it too, but like, let's see what your conversation skills are like. Let me see what your body language is like. It's also what you tell me your issues, challenges, problems are may not be what your issues, challenges, and problems are. I want to see them in real time.
Yeah.
And so if I'm the one doing it myself, you know, I try to lead in different directions, or trying to, you know, poke in things and see what comes up. If I'm sometimes, which I actually prefer to do, is I have someone that works for me, one of my do it, and I'm physically there, like a table over, because I want that same energy. Because as I am married with kids, no matter how I come into this date, I'm going to come in with a certain type of energy.
Right.
That I can't change just because that's who I am.
Right.
And so I would just more rather someone that they can play off of better with that single energy. And then I'll go back and be like, okay, you know, like halfway through, meet with the guy. Okay, you know, what did you think? How was she? What you go over? What you this? And then I meet with that person again, and we'll go through like, okay, this is the feed. Like, I'm sure this is the feedback that we have received.
Right.
Let's focus on this and see how we can make this better.
Right. And what's an example of some feedback?
A lot of women are too closed off in New York a little bit for safety, for lack of vulnerability, for type A reasons, whatever it is. You saw the TikTok floating around about rejected by a matchmaker.
Oh yeah.
Yes, like that type A type of woman, that there can be some challenges on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you tell women that are kind of shut down and not vulnerable?
First, we have to establish trust. You know, I'm not going to sit there and accuse anybody of anything. We're going to sit and get into it. But what we do is I have to ask them, like, what do you want? Is it intimacy? Is it love? Is it physicality? Is it companionship? Is it marriage? Is it family? Is it children? All of these can be in one package. Yep. But they're all separate things.
Okay.
So if you tell me what is most important to you, then we can start working backwards. If it's companionship, okay, what I hear is that it may not be as important for him to match your income level. Okay. But maybe be more interested in traveling and fun type of person, you know? It's hard because so there's a phrase, no one wants to marry a businesswoman. They want to marry a woman that's in business. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not that we want you to dim your star at all. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
people in New York do not want shrinking violets. We like some backbone and some badassery and some black leather jackets,
Yeah.
which is great. But we also want to know that you can be nurturing,
Yep.
that you can be soft. And this doesn't mean physically soft as in curvy. It doesn't mean weak
Mm-hmm.
as in
Mm-hmm.
soft. Just a space for, I don't want to feel like I'm going home to my boss every
Yeah.
night. I want to
Yep.
feel like I'm going home. And so we talk about facets.
Yeah.
If I go to like if you go to a party in Raleigh Friday night and you go to a beach party on a boat Saturday night, you're going to dress a little differently for
Yep.
those two events. You'll act a little differently. You'll bring up slightly different topics of conversation because we fit into those areas, those locations. You have
Right.
your boat facet facing forward. You've got your high society, facet facing forward. So trying to teach women, you can still be yourself, just move the facet
Yeah.
to non-business woman facet. But also what I think a lot of women are struggling with right now is they feel, again, not think, feel
Mm.
that if they date someone that is not above them, that they have negated everything that their grandmother fought for, everything that their mother
Mm.
fought for, and everything that they fought for. And it's not the
Mm.
case, but this is the way they feel about it.
Mm.
And it is hard to change the way people feel about things.
Yeah, especially, I agree with you, and especially if their first marriage, the guy, their ex-husband or late husband, was a big earner.
Yep.
Now, I mean, not setting aside the fact that maybe he was not a great guy, or maybe he divorced her for the secretary or
You have
whatever the
family on the
case might
side.
be.
Exactly.
Right. So, but that is hard for people to set aside.
I think that there's going to be a some sort of reckoning in the next 10 to 15 years for women. One, they've been sold a false bill of goods, and no one can
Mhm.
have it all. No one,
No,
man or woman, can have it all.
that's right.
Um, and again, because you hear this like, well, I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to lower my
Right.
expectations. I'm like,
Right.
and then are they realistic expectations or are they unrealistic expectations?
Hmm.
And for some people, I will not marry someone that is not my intellectual superior or equal. I
Right.
understand your PhD. That's fine. You'd rather be alone than have a dummy at home. I get it. But
Yeah.
then you have to be okay with being alone.
Mm,
Or you figure out what else is more important to you.
that's right.
And, pulling apart wants versus needs in anybody is a very tricky thing.
Hmm. Yeah, I work on that a lot with the clients that I work with online dating. I always say if you can find somebody who can be perceptive of what your emotional needs are and are there for you in terms of sensitivity, in terms of humor, in terms of conversation, that can be quite enough
Yep.
in any good relationship,
That's a
period, in the
great
story.
foundation, and you can build a lot with that.
Hmm.
I forget which book it was. I'm always, reading books and studies, but
Yeah.
somewhere as a grandmother said, like, too many people right now are looking for a house that's already built. When what you
Mm.
really need to be looking for is a clearing in the woods,
Mm.
somewhere where you can build something.
Yeah.
It's not going to be built. It's
Yeah.
not there already. But if you can find some fertile ground and a nice space that you can build something on, that's more important of what you want to look for.
Oh, I love it. And you know what? We're going to end on that point.
Let's do it.
That is beautiful. Hunt, this has been amazing. How can people find you on socials?
Thank you. You can find me on Instagram or on YouTube at Quest for Advice. I'm also on LinkedIn a lot too, and I'm on Reddit. You can go poke around and find me there. I still get clients, honestly, from a post I did 10 years ago on Reddit.
Love
The
that.
men use Reddit,
Okay.
so it's amazing to find that. So I Google my name. Again, being in the industry for as long as I have, I've probably got about 500 articles and 150 videos or stuff out there too. So if you want,
Excellent.
there is a rabbit hole that you can go down.
I love it. We'll put Hunt's socials on the show notes. Thank you so much. This has been lovely. As
Thank you.
always,
Thank
hanging out
you.
with you. Absolutely. Thank you, Hunt. Thanks for listening to Love on the Go. I hope you join us on our next episode. You can make sure to know when it is by following us wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed it, it'd be great if you left us a review. I'd appreciate it. In the meantime, to learn more about me and how my team can help you, visit carolinasmatchmaker.com. Until next time.